What's up, you guys? It's your favorite book baddie Tia, and we are back with another video. In this video, I will be basically talking about my July wrap up. Now, most of my books for the July wrap up are the books that I talked about in my June TBR. I strictly read my TBR. Yeah, so let's get into the book. So I am going to be using Storygraph on my phone to track and detail about the books and my rating of them. So for the first book I read was The Other Black Girl. I finished this on July 1st. This book I gave 3 stars. So this book was about a girl who basically, she is kind of going through this issue at work. She has a work bestie, and the bestie becomes her biggest op, basically. This book had me feeling mixed emotions. I don't really know if I enjoyed it a lot. It transferred between third person and first person a lot. I couldn't really get into it, so that's why I gave it 3 stars. I think the plot of it was decent. However, it could have been better in other areas. The next book I read was Fourth Wing. I finished this on July 3rd. You guys saw me read this book in my other video that I did. We're reading 4 books in the weekend. I gave this book 3 stars as well. As I said in that video, it was a little bit boring. It's about this girl who is training to become a dragon rider. I found parts of it boring. However, I did think that the plot was there, but if I was a fantasy girly, I would really love this. But because I'm not really into fantasy like that, it's kind of what threw me off about it. The next book I read was August Lane by Regina Black. I read this on July 4th. This was a 4-star read for me. It was about this girl who basically, she dated this guy years ago, and when she had dated him, he basically stole her song. He stole her song, made it big, and then now he was trying to go back on tour with her mom, and they had a whole relationship going on. I really much enjoyed this book. This book ate down. Of course it did. I loved it. I loved the little storyline. I loved the little plot to it. Do I recommend it? Of course. It was a cute black countryside romance book. I do want to read The Art of Scandal by this author. I tried to read it before, and it was too long for me to get into, but I really hope I can read that as well. The next book I read was Keeping 13. I gave this 3.5 stars. You guys saw this was in my 4-week book. I love this book. I loved it because of the continuation of the storyline. Did I think that it was 100% the best book ever? No. Did I find it boring at times? Yes. I do feel like there was a lot of filler chapters. However, I think everyone should check out the series because it is a popular series. I like the first book. I love this book because of the first book and how I continued it on. Would I finish the whole series? I'm not sure because these books are pretty thick. Pretty thick, and your girl, like, I was speeding through this just because I wanted to like have it, that I finished it, not because I was enjoying the story so much. So yeah, check it out if you want to see what's going on in that type of romance level. The next book I read was Heated Rivalry. I mean, what more can I say? This was a 4-star read for me. I enjoyed this book. This book was about a gay hockey romance book. I enjoyed it a lot. This is my first time reading a gay romance book. I've read gay books in like thriller or other ways, but not for romance. I really enjoyed it. I know this is a bunch of series of books, and I do believe that someone told me this was coming onto TV. If it is, I would love to see that. But this was a great book as well. The next book I read was Left of Forever. This is one of my library reads. This was about a couple who basically goes on a road trip and decides to fix their marriage after getting divorced 5 years ago. We see what made them get divorced. Oh, Leo. We see what made them get divorced. We see the journey from the beginning to the end. So that kind of really has me motivated to read it more. I think I gave this book a 3.5. I don't know if I said that before. I gave it a 3.5. Really good book. Really enjoyed it. I would recommend it. Only thing I would say is it's a quick read. It's a quick read. I would say you could read it one day. You got downtime. You want to read a little cute book. I recommend this book. The next book I read was Vacation Situation by Jenny Alexandra. This was a arc for me. I had got it sent by the author as an arc, but then she was releasing the book the next day, so it kind of really was an arc. But I read it because I wanted to read it and enjoy it. I give that book 3 stars. I loved the romance little level between it. It was about this girl and this guy this girl decides to go on a road trip for her friend, and this guy he goes on a road trip with for his friend, and then basically they end up having a little vacation situation shit. Like basically they get together while on vacation. It was really good. The next book I read was Soul Ties by Miss Cadence. 5-star read. Okay, when I tell you I devoured that book, I devoured that book. That was probably one of my favorite reads of the year. It was about this girl who her boyfriend cheats on her, and then we have a guy whose wife is pregnant, and then basically the wife gives him a hall pass and say, oh, you can go, go to this little event that, is gonna be like a freak off type of thing. And then the girl, when her boyfriend cheats on her, she's like, let me get my revenge and start having fun. So she do that, and once she do that, they end up going to the freak off together. Not together, but meet up there and, start doing stuff. And then 2 weeks later, we found out that the girl he had the freak off with is his wife, Dula. That was a great book. I loved it so much. Definitely one of my top reads of the year. Next book we have is A Lifetime in 30 Days. This was also another one of my library reads. I gave this a 2.75. Why? It said that the book was going to be about this lady, she's about to turn 40. Her husband dies. They were separated for a while, so once he passes away, she basically gets arrested at his funeral for embezzlement of funds. So we see her go through that whole type of thing and defending herself or whatever. Even though it says that's what it's about, it really was not about that. It really was about a bunch of other stuff. The plot wasn't really plotting. The original storyline, I feel like, got very lost. So I gave this a 2.75. The next book I read was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Now, I already told you guys I read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Love it. One of my 5-star thriller books. I always recommend it. So me reading None of This Is True, I had very high expectations. I won't say that the expectations weren't met, but I will say that I expected a little bit more plot twist. However, I feel like I'm comparing Lisa Jewell and Frida McFadden. That's why I'm kind of like, thinking of it. But I think her book was very good for her type of writing style. It was about these two people who find out they're birthday twins, and one of them decides to, has a podcast, and the other one's like, why don't you tell my life story through your podcast? And we see a bunch of stuff that she starts telling about her life and stuff. I think this was a really good thriller book. I gave it a 3.5. I know I say really good and oh my god I love this book, but then the ratings be so low. Even though I loved a book, or I'd be like, oh, this book was good, if it was good but average, that's a 3. If it was amazing, like I literally thought about this book for days, it gets a 5. Like Soul Ties, I thought about that book for days after reading it. So this book, it was good. It was well thought of. I gave it a 3.5. The next book is I finished It's Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. I finished this today. Literally, I finished an hour ago before I started recording. I gave this book a 3.5 as well. It's about this girl who basically, to fit in with her job, she decides to tell them, hey, I'm married. Me and my husband going through issues. Why did she lie like that? I have no idea. So she lets her best friend brother be her fake husband, and then they basically do what they gotta do. I mean, they go on this little marriage couples retreat to try to fix their marriage, even though they're fake marrying and stuff like that. I gave it 3.5 because I thought the book was very good. However, I feel like it was the relationship that they were saying that these people were, the best friend and her were having, was mainly out of lust. It wasn't really out of like, oh, your personality is good. I didn't get that. I didn't get that he was actually falling for her because of her. I got that he was falling for her because he felt bad for her past relationship, as well as he was falling for her because of her body and how she looked. It did make up for it at the end, that we did see him start to, fall for her, and their relationship start based off her personality and stuff. In the beginning, when it was first doing it, it just felt very lustful, and that's just what threw me off about the book. Now, my final read is The Art of Loving You by Natasha Bishop. Now, as I'm recording this video will be posted tomorrow. So when you guys see it, I'll be done with this video. I'm done with this book. I'm really on page 350. It's 400 pages in the book. I'll be finished it by tomorrow. But I didn't want to record this video too late, so I can upload it by me waiting on this book. So that's why I'm recording it before I finish it, but this will be done. So this book, I absolutely love this book. For those of you guys who do not know, my father recently just passed away, and this book is about a girl who, it's about a lady and a guy. They have a past relationship, okay? So they had a past relationship. They used to be flings or whatever, and we see how the past relationship didn't work out. Now they have a mentor that passes away, and they basically have to go on a scavenger hunt that was of the request of the mentor that passed away. So they go through that, and as they're going through the scavenger hunt, they start to get more closer. They start to get or see like how they messed with each other before, how the feelings are coming back. And it's just a second chance romance book. I feel like this book gets a lot of hate. I feel like it gets a lot of hate because everyone's comparing it by Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. This is not that. This is a different storyline, and this is amazing book. Do I say that because I'm also grieving as well as they're grieving? Maybe. If I wasn't grieving, I feel like I would rate this book a different rating. But this book was magnificent to me. I gave it a 4 stars. I plan on giving it a 4 star as soon as I finish it. This book has been a masterpiece for me. I feel myself connecting with the FMC so much of her I see in me. I just really enjoy this book. I feel like it gets a lot of hate. So these are all the books that I read in July, and now we're going to get into my August TBR. So for August, I do not plan on reading a lot, mainly because in next video you guys are going to see I'm going to attempt to do a reading challenge. So that'll be in next week's video. But so once I finish that reading challenge, I feel like it's going to be very overwhelming of myself for wanting to fit all of that in and then read a bunch of books for August. So for August, I'm going to be really short. I only plan on reading 3 books from my physical TBR. 2 books from my Kindle and 1 book from the library. So let's get into the physical TBR first. So I want to read Lose You to Find Me. I've had this book on my TBR for a while. It says, after Rain turns down her longtime boyfriend Caleb's marriage proposal, the two are barely speaking, coping as they enter graduate school at Linden University. Caleb doesn't understand what happened, and their relationship has been picture perfect ever since high school. He always imagined starting a family together, the same happily ever his parents had had, until the day she broke his heart. He thought Rain wanted that too. But Rain has her reasons, her secrets. She knows she can't give Caleb the future he wants, so she decides to let him go no matter the price she has to pay. Okay. So this seems like a good read. I mean, I didn't read the backs of none of these books. I literally just picked them off of my shelf and said, okay, let me read it. So this seems to be okay. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to see why he turned her down. Like, what's going on, sis? Why you do that to my guy Caleb? Like, sis, we gotta talk. So next book I plan on reading is The Obsession. Boy meets girl, girl stalks boy, girl gets revenge. Reason why I want to read this is because that The Obsession movie had just came out. I don't know if that movie is based off of this book. I doubt it, but it just, seeing that movie is making me want to read this book. So I'm excited to read it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what it's about. I mean, so then we have Not About a Boy. I've heard so many good things about this book, okay? It says, the girl has never known what it truly means to be happy. She thought she found happiness once she was in love that ended in a tragedy and nearly sent her over the edge. Now at 17, Mel is beginning to piece her life back together. Under the supervision of Child Services, the exclusive foster care agency that raised her, Mel is sober and living with a new family amongst Manhattan's elite. It's her last chance for adoption before she ages out of the system, and she's promised this time she'll try. But a casual relationship with a boy is turning into something she never intended it to be, causing small cracks in her carefully structured walls. Then her sister she has no memory of contacts Mel, unearthing complicated feelings about the past and what it could have been. I'm actually really excited for this book. I've heard so many good things about this book that I'm really excited for it. So that's going to be for my physical TBR reads. I'm gonna have in my next video, not my next video, but the video after that, I'm probably going to be explaining more about why am I reading so little, and then why it's going to be a change of scenery soon. I'll probably get into that in 2 videos from now. But also, for my TBR, for my Kindle, I'm going to be reading 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I want to read that because I want to give Tia Williams another try. I read a love song for Ricky Wilde and I didn't like it, so I want to give her one more try before I say, okay, she's not the author for me. Same thing with Jacqueline J. I read 2 books by her, wasn't really feeling it like that, so I want to read Capone from the Delgado series. I want to read that first book, so because people said, oh, you jumped in and you read a book that's like, you know, 8 books down the line. You need to start with the first book. So let me start with the first book, and when I start with the first book, then I'll see if I enjoy her. And then of course a book from the library. Not in this vlog, but in the vlog after the next, not the next vlog, but the one after that. Then you guys are gonna see me pick out that library book for my August reads. So I'm really excited for that. So yeah, you guys, so this is my August TBR and my July wrap up. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys also follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Threads. Support your girl any way she can. We have hit our goals. Make sure you also please follow me on TikTok is a priority, because once I reach 1,000 followers on TikTok, I will be doing a Kindle giveaway. So make sure you guys follow me there. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Till I see you next time. Love you, Book Baddies. Mwah.